Good morning, students. In the previous class, we have seen different forms of business organization. And in that class, we have seen meaning of business, and there are different 5 forms of business organization. So in today's class, we will take the first form of business organization, that is sole proprietorship or sole trading concern. So what exactly sole proprietorship is or sole trading concern is? Now in sole proprietorship there are two terms, sole and proprietor. We can say sole is nothing but only or single, and proprietor is nothing but owner. So sole proprietorship, we can say it's a form of a business organization which is owned, managed and controlled by a single person. It means the business where you will find only one owner, that particular form of business we will call it as sole proprietorship or sole trading concern. The owner of the business, we call him as sole proprietor or sole trader. That is the person who owns the business, who runs the business, who takes the entire decision of business. We call him as sole proprietor or sole trader. There is another definition of sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is a popular form of business organization which is owned, managed and controlled by an individual who is the recipient of all profits and bearer of all risk. What does this mean? Now, as I have already cleared, this is the form of business organization which is owned by a single person. So that single person invests capital, he manages the entire business, he alone takes all the decisions of the business. So whatever profit as a owner he earns, that entire profit belongs to the sole proprietor. In the same way, whenever the business incurs any loss, the sole proprietor has to bear all the losses or all the risk of the business. So where this particular form of business is suitable? So this form of business is particularly common in areas of personalized services such as beauty parlors, hair salons, running a retail shop, medical store, small scale industry, etc. So wherever we look for personalized services, sole trading concern comes into picture. It might be a medical store, it might be a retail store, it might be a hair salon or a small scale industry where the investment is small and things can be managed by a single person. Now we will move ahead with characteristics or features of sole trading concern. So there are 6 characteristics of sole trading concern. We'll see them one by one. First one is formation and closure. Second one is limited liability. Third one is sole risk bearer of profits and losses, control of business, no separate entity, and last one is lack of business continuity. So these are the 6 features of sole proprietorship. We'll see them one by one. First one is formation and closure. Sole trading concern or sole proprietorship, it is easy to form and easy to close. Why we say it is easy to form? Because there is no separate law that governs sole proprietorship. When it comes to a partnership firm, there is a Partnership Act of 1932. When it comes to cooperative societies, there is a Cooperative Societies Act 1912. Like other businesses, in sole proprietorship, there is no legal separate law which governs the activities of sole trading concern. Next one is, that is the same thing, hardly any legal formalities are required to start a sole proprietary business. That is, we may say to start a sole proprietary concern, we need minimum legal formalities that is permission from a local legal authority or from a local municipal corporation. In some cases, one may require a license. So, if it is a retail store or if it is a medical store, then we may require a license. Closure of the business can also be done easily. Means, to start a business, we have minimum legal formalities, and whenever the sole proprietor wish to close down his business activities, there is no headache for him. He can easily close all his business activities started under the form of sole trading concern. So, first feature of sole trading concern is formation and closure. It is easy to form and easy to close. There is no separate law that governs sole proprietorship. There are minimum legal formalities need to be fulfilled to start a sole proprietorship. In some cases, we may require a license, and closing of the business can also be done easily. So, this is the first feature of sole trading concern: formation and closure. The second important feature of sole trading concern is liability. Sole trader has unlimited liability. So, unlimited liability means what? Unlimited liability means whenever, that is, the personal property of the sole proprietor or sole trader or owner of the firm is attached to the business. It means whenever the business assets fall short to clear business debts, he has to sell his personal property to clear off the business debts. That is why we call it as unlimited liability. So, owner may possess some private assets, a house or maybe a car, and suddenly if he incurs a huge loss in the business, and after selling business assets also some amount he needs to be settle off, then he has to sell his personal assets and clear off the business debts. Owner's personal assets like his personal car or other assets etc. are attached to the business. That is why we say sole trading concern is a risky form of a business organization, because the owner has unlimited liability where his personal assets are attached to the business. This is the second important characteristics of sole proprietorship. The third important feature of sole proprietorship is sole proprietor is a single risk bearer and profit recipient. The risk of failure of business is borne all alone by the sole proprietor. It means whatever losses takes place in the business, those entire losses belongs to the sole proprietor. If the business is successful, the proprietor enjoys all the benefits. He receives all the business profits, which becomes a direct reward for his risk bearing. So, we always say higher the risk, higher will be the profits, lower the risk, lower will be the profits. So, whenever the sole proprietor takes high degree of risk, obviously profits will also be more. So, the entire profits are enjoyed by the sole proprietor. So, he is the only person who enjoys the entire profit of the business. So, profit becomes a reward for his risk taking. If the business is unsuccessful, the entire loss is borne by the sole proprietor. So, likewise, if he incurs a huge loss in the business or any amount of loss in the business, he has to bear that entire loss of that particular sole trading concern or sole proprietorship business. So, this is the third important feature of sole proprietorship: sole risk bearer and profit recipient. The fourth one is control. The right to run the business and make all decisions lies absolutely with the sole proprietor. So, as there is a single owner in the business, all day-to-day activities, important decisions of the firm, appointment of any person, entire things is looked after by the sole proprietor. So he himself takes all the decisions, whether it is operational decision or major important decision. All the decisions are taken by the sole proprietor. He can carry out his plans without any interference from others. As he is the single owner, he may consult others for some suggestions, but he alone takes the entire responsibility of that particular decision. So there is no interference from any other person in his business. Whatever plans he has sorted, he can very well implement in the business without the interference of others. So control lies in the hands of sole proprietor, where he decides the future of the business. He takes all the operational major decisions in the organization. Fifth important feature is no separate entity. So no separate entity in the sense owner is different, means owner and his business both are one and the same. In the eyes of the law, no distinction is made between the sole trader and his business, as business does not have an identity separate from the owner. Means if business belongs to owner, if owner with the mistake of owner, if anything happens, any loss occurs in the business, that entire loss is incurred by the owner. So there is no separate legal existence in the eyes of law. Both owner and his business both are treated as one and the same. The owner is therefore held responsible for all the activities of the business. So on behalf of business, if owner enters into any contract and that contract may lead to any loss in future, then owner himself is responsible for that particular loss. So the fifth important feature of sole proprietorship is no separate entity. Last one is lack of business continuity. As we have seen, one of the feature that it is easy to start and easy to close. Same way, this business lacks continuity. That is, it doesn't exist for a longer period of time. The sole proprietorship business is owned and controlled by one person. This is for sure clear for everyone that it's a form of a business organization which is owned, controlled and managed by a single person. So if anything happens to that single person, what will be the outcome of that business? The outcome of the business is closing down of the sole proprietorship business. So if death, insanity, imprisonment, physical ailment or bankruptcy of sole proprietor will have a direct and detrimental effect on the business and may even cause closure of the business. Insanity means mentally retired person. Imprisonment means like if you have done any illegal activities, obviously you have to face the future consequences. If any physical ailment, and even bankruptcy is nothing but your liabilities are more than your assets. Means there is no financial there is no money with you. Your liabilities, you're supposed to pay more than what you have. That is what we call it as bankruptcy. So in these cases, what is the ultimate outcome of sole trading concern? It is closure of the business. So it lacks continuity. So these are the 6 important features of sole trading concern. We'll see them one by one again. First one is easy to form and easy to close. Second one is the liability of sole proprietor is unlimited. It means his personal assets are attached to the business. If business assets fall short, the sole proprietor has to sell his personal assets to clear off the business debts. Third one is sole risk bearer and profit recipient. If there are maximum profits, entire profits belong to sole trader. Nobody shares the profits. In the same way, if loss takes place, there is no other person who can share those loss. The entire loss belongs to the sole proprietor. Control, the entire control lies in the hands of the sole proprietor. He takes all major minor decisions. He is free to implement any plans without anybody's interference, and there is no separate entity, that is the owner and his business both are treated as one in the eyes of law. And last one is sole proprietorship business lacks continuity. There is no continuity for sole proprietorship. If anything happens to the sole trader or sole proprietor, like if the sole trader dies, if he becomes insane, if he goes to jail, or if any physical ailment happens, or if he becomes bankrupt, at that time the ultimate outcome of the business is closing down of sole trading concern. Thank you.